Hey guys, this is Stacey Rogers, candidate for governor of Kansas, and I told you that I did an interview with a paper and they gave me the debate questions in order to answer them independently so that my answers could be out there, and I'm recording the video of those answers. Now, I am expanding on them just a little bit from what I wrote, so you'll get a little bit more than what I've said in the paper. But the next question was star bonds, my favorite topic. So, star bonds, the question was, we've seen the use of star bonds across the state for numerous different community investments. In your opinion, are star bonds the best way to create economic growth in this state? We need to sunset star bonds. There's no other way around it. They were started in the 90s. They were meant to be this economic development tool that would create new business in this state. However, historically, we've seen that the majority of star bonds do not. In fact, there's only 3 of the 17 active in the state that are actually meeting the benchmarks. And those benchmarks were not even provided by the Commerce Department. They had to be provided by an external source who went and did the research to find out if they were actually meeting those goals. So I actually like that an external source looked into this. But what we have, when reviewed in for the 2018-2019, which there was some reasons they weren't reviewing other years because of COVID and things like that. The 2018-2019, they were not performing at expected benchmarks. The Commerce Department did not have complete data in which to evaluate the key points of why star bond is utilized, which included how many visitors were actually from out of state, which is supposedly what it's supposed to be pulling in, versus local residents who would have already spent money in the state, just maybe somewhere else. So it is estimated that it will take decades to recoup the sales tax revenue it gave up for just the 3 star bonds that are actually performing at the levels we expect them to. That leaves the other 14 performing at substandard levels and not meeting those benchmarks. But guess what, guys? Let me do a little explanation about star bonds to you. With 17 active star bonds in this state, I did some research the other day because the propaganda out there is saying it won't affect you if you're not near one. Well, guess what, guys? 65 to 75% of the entire state population lives within 5 miles of a star bond district. That means that you may, without even knowing it, be paying into a star bond area. There's one in Wichita. There's one in Dodge City, Garden City, Salina. There's 2 in Derby. And there's a bunch in the Northeast, and that's not all 14 or all 17, but those are just the ones that I can remember right off the top of my head. And you are definitely probably paying into those. Even if you live outside of those areas, you probably at some point travel to one of those areas and spend money. Well, those sales tax dollars inside of those star bond areas for the unique taxpayers that are allocated to it are not going to the state, city, or county. They are going to pay back these investors. So these investors are making a lot of money back on these projects, and it's not benefiting our state. We're currently struggling to make our budget. We're currently struggling to not end up in a deficit in just a couple years. Star bonds are not benefiting this state. It is a redistribution of star bond money, of sales tax dollars into these star bond areas to pay back investors, not Kansans. So when we look at the Chiefs deal, which I've talked about a lot, and we look at the propaganda out there about how many jobs it's going to create and how much revenue it's going to bring in, well, 10% of our population is affected by that star bond area. 10% of our entire population. So do you think those jobs created, do you think those people will spend money inside of that star bond area? Very likely. And when they do, that sales tax revenue doesn't go to the state. It goes to pay back investors. So again, the money that's being created is kind of smoke and mirrors, because while there may be some revenue that's coming in to those individual owners, the sales tax revenue is not benefiting our state. So that's all I have for tonight on the star bond issue. We'll go to the next question another day. Talk to you soon.